The Orcs are an aggressive swarm faction that train their units at sector centers instead of dedicated barracks. This typically makes the Orcs favor large maps where they can grow their economy with many sectors. Orc outposts themselves are cheap, but only house 3 workers each per upgrade level, while resource buildings have 2 worker slots each. This makes it so that the Frontier Outpost upgrade becomes especially important for growing your economy, as you'll have 6 workers perfectly filling up 3 resource buildings. The advanced Orc resource is Black Ash. You can gather this with Black Ash collectors. Orcs have no way to get infinite advanced resources. The deep late game and scrappy matches are generally a weakness of the race. Tribe totems are a unique building for the Orcs that have several abilities. You must build up the totem's charge meter using iron or black ash to use these, and 1 worker must be assigned to them too. The first ability is the Flame Strike. This will launch a flaming shot at the targeted area, dealing massive magic damage. If the enemies have the Oiled Affliction, they will also be ignited, significantly increasing the damage. The other 3 Tribe Totem abilities can be unlocked at the Shaman Hut. Oil Strike applies the Oil Affliction to units in the target area. The duration of the effect is fairly long, so it's worth considering using it even by itself for the move and attack speed reductions. Of course, igniting it using Flame Strike, Shamans or Wyverns is preferable though. Battle Rage will apply the Hasten boon to allies, drastically increasing their movement speed. This is excellent to chase down fleeing enemies, especially when combined with Oil Strike to slow enemies down. Zerg's Cage puts enemy units in the target area into stasis, stopping them from performing any action. Combine this with Oil Strike and Flame Strike for maximum effect. Your timing will need to be impeccable though, as the effect only lasts for a short moment. Basic Orc buildings cost wood, while more advanced ones cost wood and stone, necessitating a hefty amount of stone income as the game progresses. Individual Orc buildings are very fragile, but the cheap costs and granular economy balance this out. Unlike the other races, Orcs have access to 3 tiers of generic damage and resistance upgrades available at the Bloodforge. These won't affect Goblin units, but everything else is affected. Now, let's see about the Orc unit roster. Warg Riders are the scout unit, and while you get 1 at the start, you can't actually train them until you build a War Pit. After that, you can train them from any sector center. They have a ranged attack but can't target flying units. You can upgrade Warg Riders at the Bloodforge with Sharp Eyes, giving them more health, damage and range, plus the ability to hit flying units. Scoundrels are the chaff infantry of the Orcs that you can train at any sector center. These weak melee goblins are trained in pairs and are highly spammable given their combined food and wood cost. This does mean, however, that once wood runs out, you can no longer train Scoundrel. You can get the Strength in Numbers upgrade for them at the Bloodforge. This will increase the units trained per batch from 2 to 3. This may cost a lot, but if you are still training goblins, you will make the value back quickly. Goblin Pesterers are ranged goblins, trained in pairs just like the Scoundrel, and they cost food and stone. To unlock them, you must research Call of the Pack at the War Pit. From there onwards, you can train them in any sector center. Like Scoundrel, they also benefit from the Strength in Numbers upgrade, resulting in a trio getting trained at once. They also share the Incinerate upgrade with the Shamans, which you can research in the Bloodforge. With this, Pesterers will apply the Oiled Affliction to enemies, slowing them down. Shamans and Wyverns can then ignite the oiled enemies. Shamans will create an explosion in addition, however. You can also combo the Flame Strike from Tribe Totems with Pesterers. Drummers are support units that empower and heal nearby Goblin units. They don't have an attack themselves. Like Goblin Pesterers, they are unlocked after you research Call of the Pack at the War Pit, and you can train them at any sector center. There are no unique upgrades for drummers. Brutes are tanky and hard-hitting tier 2 melee units that deal mostly strike damage, but also some siege damage, making them excellent at taking down buildings, or just being a solid meat shield. To unlock them, you must research Blood of the Horde at the War Pit. You can train them at any sector center after that. There are no unique upgrades for Brutes. Hunters are tier 2 ranged units with pierce damage that also cause the bleeding affliction to units they hit. As the bleeding doesn't stack, it's best to let them spread their damage across multiple enemies and only focus fire to secure kills. To unlock them, you must research Blood of the Horde at the War Pit. You can train them at any sector center after that. There are no unique upgrades for Hunters. Ravagers are the Orc melee cavalry unit. They are relatively tanky with decent strike damage, but will serve you best as a raiding unit to take down resource structures. To unlock them, you need to research the Wrath of the Horde upgrade at the War Pit. You will be able to then train them from frontier posts or more advanced sector centers. Ravagers may be upgraded with Thrill of the Hunt at the Bloodforge, which increases their speed, further reinforcing their raiding role. Wyverns are the orc flying unit, able to spew fireballs that deal magic damage in an area. These shots can also ignite enemies that have the oiled condition. Training them requires the Beasts of Bargagor upgrade at the War Pit, and you need a Frontier Post or more advanced Sector Center too. You can upgrade them with Black Ash infused armor, which increases their speed and health. Shamans are the orc tier 3 mage unit, dealing magic damage and are able to ignite oiled enemies. Training them requires the Wrath of the Horde upgrade at the War Pit, as well as a Shaman Hut and a Fortified Outpost or more advanced Sector Center. They are also the only orc unit with the Black Ash cost. You may upgrade them with Incinerate at the Bloodforge. Instead of just igniting old enemies, Shamans will create a powerful explosion. War Trolls are the orc tier 3 siege unit, hugely expensive, hugely powerful, and hugely huge. Their melee attacks deal high strike damage and siege damage, and have a chance to knock down and stun enemy units. To unlock them, you must research the Beasts of Bargagor upgrade at the War Pit, and you will need a fortified outpost or more advanced sector center to train them from. There are no unique upgrades for War Trolls. Lastly, the Orc Titan, the Flesh Colossus, can be summoned near the Tainted Obelisk after you present an offering to Zarak. For each kill, the Flesh Colossus gains a stack of Zarak's Wrath, increasing its attack speed. You can get up to 10 stacks. The Flesh Colossus has Zarak's Blessing ability, giving allies a strong attack and movement speed buff. However, once it expires, the affected units will suffer heavy damage. This is a very powerful tool in any battle, but you can also use it to end games with, especially when combined with War Trolls attacking the enemy capital. The speed buff can stack with the battle rage buff from the tribe totem, resulting in rather fast War Trolls for surprise capital snipes. Alternatively, you can set up for extremely speedy Ravager run-bys, combining their Thrill of the Hunt upgrade, the tribe totem's battle rage, and the Zarak's Blessing ability from the Flesh Colossus. I'd like to express my gratitude to Grimlore Games who have sponsored these guides. If you haven't yet played Spellforce 3, be sure to try the free Versus edition, and if you are having fun, purchase the full game. Links are provided in the description.